talking basketball. Say go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. Say go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. Mass Jones.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pod Don't Lie with Sam and Stav. Motherfucking March, baby. We're in this bitch. Damn, about to be March Madness. I know we're out of college.
It's March 1st, and the Knicks are over 500, Stavros.
This might be the worst podcast we ever do.
Well,
this might be the most brutal podcast for me that we ever do. And I hope, you know what? I hope it is, because if it isn't, that means by some miracle, then this incarnation of the Knicks just keeps getting better, and I have to deal with you in perpetuity, at least for this season. But anyway, yes, congratulations. I'm in an interesting position here because I want the Knicks to do well. Don't get me wrong. I am a Knicks fan. That's what's weird about this, dude. I feel like I am like a stepchild that by marriage entered this dysfunctional family, which is like, I love the family. I want to be a part of it, but still it's like, I'm watching you do some weird, you're like a family that, like, I don't know, has some weird, I don't even know what to do. Some weird, like, you know, they just eat like cream cheese raw or something. Like, I don't know what it is. I have to watch these weird. You
were reaching for some Jewish stereotype.
I didn't even mean to go cream cheese. I tried. Yeah. I joined this family and they just so weirdly control all the banks, and I just want everyone to get interest loans, but they're like, no, only we get the good rates. And it's just, it puts me in a weird position. No,
I think first off,
it's not just you, by the way. Did you see that video of like
Knicks
that was like, woo, everyone's celebrating like it's a parade, like we won the fucking
This is our best start in 8 years, dude.
Since the Melo, yeah, since the losing to the Pacers in the
and that roster,
70s.
I mean, that roster had Tyson Chandler and Carmelo and Amari and J.R. Smith and Steve Novak and Raymond Felton and Jason Kidd. Like, that was Oh no, maybe Kidd wasn't that year, maybe.
No, I don't think Kidd was there, but yeah. Everyone else, you said.
We had a squad, dude. And yeah, it's crazy. Like,
yeah, that was the year
at this roster, and they're not even I got laughed at for saying 8 seed.
Okay, you know what's difficult about arguing with you about the Knicks is that it doesn't matter what reality is. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm the only one looking at the facts and trying to draw a conclusion. You just say they're going to be good no matter what. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like arguing with just like a fucking wall. No matter there's every
a brick
year
wall, the Knicks wall,
the defense that the Knicks, the top 10 defense. But you know what? It's like every year that we have been friends, you have consistently thought the Knicks might be an 8th seed.
And this year I was right.
Every single year. It doesn't matter. We're starting Ignatius Brzezinski or whatever the fuck his name was. And you're like, Iggy's got something. You're calling him Iggy like Brazdeikis. You're calling him Iggy like he's better than Iguodala. You're like, I think he's got something.
And he's tearing up the G League as we speak. I haven't given up on that kid. Let me tell you something. Julius Randle on Saturday night proved why he should be on the team instead of Sabonis. Sabonis got eaten up by King Julius said, "You've entered the kingdom." That's the new what we call the garden now. The kingdom. And the engine ate him up. He
ran through the engine's pistons smashed his head. He was gurgling the motor oil that King Julius, the gentleman engine, was pumping down his throat.
I started King Julius, and now the Knicks are doing the pictures of him in the crown.
You started King Julius.
Who was saying King Julius before me?
I don't know. That's what it is. It's like, it seems like you did it yourself, but it's probably some weird fucking brain disease that every Knicks fan has. That it's like you've been activated like there's a bunch of little Manchurian candidates all across New York. There's a guy in the Bronx right now calling him King Julius. There's people in Bed-Stuy going King Julius. There's something in the water that makes the bagels great and all the fans delusional about their basketball team. That's my hypothesis.
Well, you know what? The bread rises and so does the cream, my brother. And let me tell you something. RJ Barrett is back with a vengeance. He almost cost us that Pacers game. Frankie Smokes comes in and put the
Frankie on, baby. Dude, seeing Frankie made my dick so hard. He's first of all, he looks so cute. He's still got those beautiful eyes. like a little Mickey Mouse. And you know what? Apparently he was injured and he was out because of COVID protocols.
Bad luck.
It is heartening because remember at the beginning of the season, I thought that Frankie might find a place in Tibbs' rotation because he's such a good defender. And this is making me think that, I don't know, maybe now that they've added Rose to have a little more offense, that maybe if they can, and the shooters have been playing relatively well, that maybe.
And Burks are looking great, but we don't even have Mitchell Robinson. I mean, this is a team that we've lost our anchor on defense and our lob guy. He's kind of our Tyson,
Yo, absolutely. Yeah, he's definitely playing that position. But I mean, this really, I have to say what it really just comes down to. And it's not that I don't think it's great what Julius is doing, but it's just what more than anything, I just think we just have to slobber all over Tibbs's prick for this. This just shows what yeah.
He's in the coach of the year discussion without question.
Yeah. That one is he's in the discussion, but let's be honest. Quinn Snyder gets it if this continues, but yeah,
sure.
He's definitely, I will give you that Thibodeau is actually in the discussion in the way that Julius is not in the quote unquote top 10 MVP discussion.
Top 8.
Oh, top 8. Okay. Give me your top 8. How about we do that?
Okay. Top 8 most valuable. I mean, obviously Giannis isn't there.
Yes, of course. So let's start with LeBron. The 3 candidates everyone has said, right? LeBron, Embiid, Jokic, right?
And you gotta throw Dame in there, obviously.
Dame, Giannis, Kawhi. That's 6. Luka, 7.
Yeah, and I think you put Julius at 8.
Put Julius at 8.
Well, the Clippers are still a good team if Kawhi or PG goes down.
This is so hilarious.
So are the Nets. If any of the Nets go down to the big 3, they're still a good team. They're still playoff. Oh my
God, this is such a Chris. What about Chris Paul?
Yeah, that would hurt the Suns, but not as much as the absence. They have 2
You have picked
All-Stars.
the one. You have picked the one possible criteria. Is he as good as any of those guys? That's the real fucking question.
Right now. Devin Booker was a fill-in on the All-Star team. Julius Randle made it on his own merit. Julius Randle has who gets more assists per game? He gets 3 more assists a game than Devin Booker, okay? I mean, this is a guy who is making everyone around him better, and that's why New York is celebrating him.
I agree with you, but he's not a fucking you know what? This is what you've made me do. I can't believe you forgot Steph Curry. Not even close. That bumps him out of your top 8. How about that?
He's top 10. He's top 10.
Okay, back to top 10. So oh my God. What about Donovan Mitchell?
No, because they're still a playoff team.
You think if you take Donovan Mitchell off that team,
the way crazy. Jordan Clarkson's playing, they're still a playoff.
Jordan Clarkson.
he is 6th man of the year.
All right, whatever, man. You're out of your fucking mind.
18 a game.
Anyone from the Nets is a better MVP candidate. You don't get to pick and choose with the
they
fucking.
They might be more talented, but would
might? By the way, might is a hilarious word to use, right? Did you just say might? You said Kyrie, Harden, and Durant might be more talented.
You haven't even seen what Julius has in his bag, motherfucker. Did you see what he did to Detroit last night? Some of those moves.
No, I didn't.
He's a 41% three-point shooter this year. You said it would go down. It hasn't, and it ain't coming down. The king stays on top.
The king rules from his perch on the crown, thumbing his nose at the peasants that try and challenge his 4th seed.
Get my motherfucker a scepter.
Yeah. By the way, I have to say, it is disrespectful. Oh, by the way, what about the Heat? Jimmy Butler.
You've got Bam.
Oh my God. That's not.
You've got Tyler Hero. And guess what?
Who would fall apart is not what a fucking MVP is, you fucking idiot.
It is the most valuable. It's not, it's not best player.
God.
It's most valuable player.
You are such a piece of shit for this fucking argument. That is so stupid, but fine.
It is the most valuable player. So here's another thing I'll say, brother.
Wait, I'm sorry. What was the Heat's record when Jimmy wasn't there? You fucking idiot. That team didn't fall apart? But in both categories, categories.
I love Jimmy Butler. I'm a big Jimmy Butler fan.
Okay. Anyway,
I think he's terrific.
That's fine.
I even feel like we'd be friends. I feel like Jimmy would be like, I like this guy. He's sarcastic.
A good hang.
Jimmy is the man. I love Jimmy, but King
Oh
Julius
my
is
God.
family.
He's family.
Don't you ever disrespect the Knicks?
2
dude.
years from now, his ACL
He'll
is
be 28.
gelatinous.
He'll be 28.
His
He'll be
MCL
entering
is
his prime.
gelatinous.
He'll be entering his prime, dude.
I hope it works, but that's the problem is you can't just, it's hard. I want so bad to feel happy for you, but it's so hard. Every time something good happens, you take it to the next level. Every
And that's
single
how the
time.
good vibes keep coming, brother. I put good energy out there and they keep coming true. Here's another thing. When you laughed at me, you taunted me, you spit on my grave, saying that Tyler Hero is miles ahead of RJ Barrett. Look what RJ's done this year. Look at how he's elevated his game.
Okay. Listen, man. Listen.
I love Tyler Hero, but you can't tell me RJ's not in the same conversation.
Listen,
You mocked
RJ has
me.
never done anything in a fucking Eastern Conference Finals that even approaches.
Not yet.
Okay, all right. Look,
Oh.
I'm not. Tyler Hero has been injured. I think he might have been out for coronavirus, and his whole team has been. They haven't had a fucking team. RJ has had the
Part
Knicks
of
have
this
crazily
season- part of the season is
had
staying
the
healthy.
most fucking stability of any franchise. Somehow they have
And
not missed.
it starts from the top up, baby, and that's Coach Tibbs.
I
And
know.
this is about.
Oh, I'm sorry.
can
He's
go-
a better coach than fucking Eric Spoelstra.
No one's saying
It's
they're
not
both-
luck.
they're
It's
both-
not bad
they're both
luck that the
elite.
Heat have been fucked this year.
Maybe they have a little bit of a Eastern Conference Finals hangover, and maybe they're not taking it as seriously as the Knicks are.
So they got coronavirus.
Yeah.
And got injured because they weren't
Look,
taking it seriously.
I don't mean the victim
They don't
blame.
want it as much as the Knicks,
I don't-
whose blood cells whose white blood cells stopped coronavirus at the entryway and said, "No, thank you. We have to fucking hustle and to get rebounds. You can't fucking run suicides if you got coronavirus. So
Dude,
no, thank you, Mr.
You know
Coronavirus."
what? You're making a joke right now, but if you've watched our defense, it's not a crazy theory that we have stopped COVID in its tracks. I mean, shit, even Nerlens Noel can come in and shot block. Get the fuck out of here, COVID-19.
Get the hell out of here, the novel coronavirus.
You're a short story, motherfucker. You just got by Nerlens Noel. The Knicks defense could stop COVID.
They should have sent those motherfuckers. It sounds like we should have put Mitchell Robinson out front of those fucking retirement homes that Andrew Cuomo made into fucking concentration camps. Cuomo had those motherfuckers dying.
Does Cuomo have worse press right now? It's like he's getting Me Too'd and he's
he
killing.
murdered a bunch of old people.
The only
Yeah,
thing
he was.
worse,
He,
if he like tried to fuck the elderly people that are dying,
Yeah,
that's the only way this could be worse.
I didn't know that you could not rape the elderly. I thought I only had sex with the ones that were already dying. It is not a crime if they're going to die anyway.
My favorite defense that I hear when dudes like this get Me Too'd is when he's like, "I'll stop making the types of jokes I made." Like,
Yeah.
clearly it wasn't a, like he was
Yeah.
like he's like, "I got a knock joke for you. Knock knock. Who's there? My penis. You want to see my penis? Please just touch it for a second."
Yeah, it's like the popsicle sticks. He's just got jokes written on the bottom of his balls.
It's a joke. He's the fucking worst. You know it's bad when De Blasio's got ammo to go after you. You know?
Yeah.
And
That
guy
really
has
is the biggest
anything.
two of the biggest dumbasses of all time.
Ugh.
Um,
I
Anyway.
picture like De Blasio was like one of the scumbags who was like taking a steam with Tony.
100%. Both of them. Are you kidding me? Cuomo's the guy who wishes he was friends with the mob.
True. True.
Anyway. So congratulations. The New York Knickerbockers are the number 4 team in the East. And I'm going to let you savor this one, Sam. You know, I want you to enjoy it because
Love it.
just last week they were like 11th. So that goes to show
And
you.
also last week I said these are 3 winnable games coming up. I said our next 10 games, I think we could go on a nice maybe 7-3, whatever. I mean, these are all winnable games. We got the Pistons twice, we got the Wizards twice. I know the Wizards have figured it out a little bit, but they're still the Wizards.
Wizards just fucking it's so funny how the Wizards have a talent for making the good times end because like they were on a nice little streak and then not only do they lose by 1 and fucking they waste another Brad Beal performance who had 46. Do you know how fucking sweet and fuck the Wizards for that one. They costed us a delicious Celtics staying under 500 and losing
Ugh.
to the Wizards game. Those pieces of shit.
Tatum hit a big one. It made me
And
furious.
it sucks because they were up by 5 with 47 seconds left. I watched that fourth quarter because I was just like, I had it kind of on like League Pass alert. I was just kind of, I wasn't going to watch the whole game, but I was monitoring it. And I was like, hell yeah, because Brad Beal's going off. I was watching Yojimbo last night, so I did not really catch. I'm on my film shit.
I was watching Yo Julius.
But fuck
another Kurosawa film.
Fuck the Wizards for that one,
dude. Fuck the Nets for getting bitch slapped by the fucking Mavs. I need the Mavs to keep losing for that pick. Why are you not beating Dallas, motherfuckers?
I don't see it happening, brother. I don't see them losing. And I have to say, I watched that game too. That was a fun game to watch. The first half. Well, first of all, the Nets really are just like it. We've said it before. They're the Clippers. They kind of have that Clippers energy from last year where no one's really that worried. They haven't really put it together, except the difference here is Kyrie and Durant have won, are champions, both have like signature shots in the fucking finals. One is a multiple finals MVP. Kyrie has hit maybe the biggest shot of the last fucking 20 years. And Harden, for whatever you want to say about him in the playoffs, if he has two guys with that kind of pedigree, and he is basically the point guard now, his job is creating. Like, I believe in this team so much more intrinsically than I did the Clippers, even though what you could have said about Kawhi, I mean, Kawhi, has arguably won harder championships than either one of those guys. But PG just isn't bringing it in the same way. And they did not have a third one.
But yeah, I mean, I think you just said it right there. It's 3 Hall of Famers versus 2 is a big difference.
Big difference. And so, Saturday's game was no Kyrie, no Durant. It was literally just Harden out there with fucking, some guy named Claxton playing center who has blonde dreads, which is a great look, by the way.
They need to make a move for.
I'm very jealous of black guy blonde hair. One of the coolest looks there is.
It is a good look.
I can't. I listen. Who knows? I might
fucking Wesley Snipes and Demolition Man,
dude. That is an awesome look. Who knows though? Maybe maybe I go blonde. Maybe I go blonde for the summer.
I could see that.
Dude, just got if the fucking mane gets a little longer, we'll see. Keep it posted, folks. But anyway, that game was the first half was still incredibly entertaining because it was basically like Harden versus Luka, and it was awesome. And then it just kind of became a blowout. Again, it was the kind of thing where it did not seem like they really gave a fuck. They just felt like, all right, nice go, good go, James. Now we're just going to fucking pull it. But I will say Porzingis came back from the injury. He looked pretty good. It seemed a little bit like they had heard, they wanted to mend whatever, behind the scenes shit was going on. They did post him a little bit. It's great. You do watch him and you're like, I'm not even one of these guys that's like, he's got to be on the fucking low post. You got to, bang him in there. But there's certain matchups where they have Jeff Green on him, or they have fucking
you gotta be able to face up.
Brown.
You got to be able to face up Jeff Green, dude.
I will say he did have a couple takes in the post, and he does have one of the best, you say a guy that tall, you want him to go straight, but at the same time, he's got one of the best fadeaways because he's so gigantic and he releases from such a high point, and it's usually a money shot. I mean, that was one of our favorite shots when he played for the Knicks.
But the damage control that Dallas is doing. I mean, the word on the street that he got put on the block. I mean, that's
you know what's annoying about that is like, I don't know. Isn't that kind of your due diligence as a general manager just to see? What do they expect for him is what I want to know. Like, it's weird to put him on the block now when he doesn't have.
Is his value at its best right now?
That's a good point. I wouldn't take a temperature check when the guy's been on the bench and he's struggling to come back from injury and your whole team's been playing like shit. I wouldn't do that. You're right.
That's the biggest question. Like, you talk about like his toughness and him posting up, because we know he's very athletic for a guy his size. He can clearly shoot, but the question is durability. Can he stay healthy? He's never healthy the second half of the season, dude. He always started hot for the Knicks.
Yeah, so hopefully he can change that this year and actually be healthy. Because here's the other thing. It's one thing it's fun for us to be like, we want to win that trade. But at the same time, you just want as many good players in the league. Like watching him yesterday, it's like, I do want him and Luka to be a great pair. I want a great team.
Like Trump said about Ghislaine Maxwell. I wish him the best.
Yes, Ghislaine Maxwell and Kristaps Porzingis both did equally horrific things. One was an international sex trafficker. The other quit on the Knicks.
Well, you should have seen how he quit on the Knicks. Ghislaine brought in more talent than fucking Porzingis brought in that fucking trade. Let's be real.
We needed Ghislaine, not Phil Jackson, to be the fucking GM. Fuck. Anyway, so the Mavs had a really good second half defensively, but again, it just kind of felt like, the Nets were not that engaged. You know what I couldn't help myself watching the Nets for the last few games, thinking they have fucking Bruce Brown, right? That 6'3" guy, who's basically playing power forward. It's crazy.
He had that one really big game too.
Yeah, he's had a couple of good games the last. Yeah, he's 6'4", and he is essentially, because they've played him a couple times where it's like him and 4 shooters. He's basically the center. And he's basically like in the dunker spot. He's like, he can get up. He's athletic, but I could not help myself thinking like, damn, who would be perfect for that role? Russell Westbrook from the Rockets last year. Russ was playing power forward last year. You put him on this team. I know, but that crazy? There's no way to do it.
It doesn't work either because Russ is such a bad jump shooter. And like the reason this Nets offense.
But Brown is not. No. But that's what I'm saying. Brown is basically playing the position that was invented by Russell Westbrook on the Rockets last year.
I know, but the problem is defense right now. And you need good defense in there. They need a JaVale McGee or an Andre Drummond.
No, I know. But just the way they were talking about Brown is it's crazy. We're seeing this short guy, this smaller guy, undersized guy playing in the post, and it's all energy and he's ferocious. And I'm like, yo, if Russ wasn't on a $50 million contract, it would be hysterical if he like came to the Nets next year to play the
maybe he gets bought out. Who the fuck knows?
I would not be put. I would make those cocksuckers pay me every cent in DC. I'm not getting bought out if I'm Russ. That's the thing, man. Is Russ ever gonna? Russ can do that like Gary Payton on the Heat, Gary Payton on the Lakers, time in his career where he becomes like a role player to chase a ring after he cashes in his $45 million a year
but also,
contract.
Let's not forget, Gary Payton's one of the best defensive players of all time. Even at that age, he was playing. Payton.
He wasn't that. He was solid. It was more about the smarts with Payton, I think, towards the end. For sure. Westbrook could be a beast in a second unit at some point, though. So who knows? It's interesting. It's like with Westbrook, he has that thing with Melo and especially with Iverson, and a lot of people have made that comparison where it's like, I don't actually know if he has that in him. You know what I mean? He seems like the kind of guy who, when he plays video games, his finger's on the turbo button the whole time.
Yes.
You're like, Russ, just wait for a second. And at the same, he's like, but he's playing his hardest. He wants the hardest competition. He wants to be the guy in the way that like, would he ever just take a reduced role, even on his next contract? I don't know. That's what ended Iverson's career early. Iverson would have been the best 6-man on a great team. Iverson would have been incredible playing fucking 18 minutes a game.
Lou Will 2.0, if you think.
Lou Will learned. I think Lou Will learned a little bit from. That was his guy, and I think Lou Will just kind of fucking accepted it. Whereas Lou Will never got to be an MVP. Lou Will was never the face of a franchise. And I just worry about that with Westbrook. I don't think I think he would be a great. Even with Melo. With the Blazers, this year it hasn't been an issue because they've had so many injuries. But if that team was healthy, you really don't want Melo playing that much. Now because they've had so many injuries, he's ended up being very valuable. And I got to give it to him. He's had a string of great games, and I love watching him. But
he also was out of the league for over a year. That's the other thing if you think about Melo. Melo also
there was a humbling going on.
There was a humbling,
which he didn't
but there was
deserve,
also,
by the way.
He didn't
Melo
deserve
should
it,
have been
but
in the fucking league.
He absolutely should have been in the league, but he didn't do himself any favors in press conferences when they said, like, would you be willing to come off the bench? And he like in OKC, and he laughed like, get the fuck out of here. Okay, guess what? Yeah, you probably shouldn't have been coming off the bench, but don't fucking laugh at the question for what's good for the team. That was his vibe. He brought that shit on him.
But you know what? I respect it.
Of course you do. It's hilarious. Melo is, and
Melo's like, suck my dick. I'm one of the best offensive players of all time.
Yeah, well,
I'm not coming up. I have to live in Oklahoma City. The only club is a fucking Chili's, and you think I'm going off the fucking bench? I'll come off the bench in Miami where I can get some A+ side pussy and the best cocaine in the world. I'm not doing it for a nice ribeye and last call at 10 p.m. I'm not coming off the bench in Oklahoma City.
No, but it was a bad look, is my point.
It was a bad look.
And look, I'm not saying Jerry Stackhouse was ever on Melo's level, but he was a 29 a game guy at one point. And, you know, he had a great second half of his career as a 6-man in Dallas. I'm just saying, you can extend your career. And my thing with Westbrook, as to what you're saying, is like, what made him great could inevitably be his downfall. Is that he only knows one speed. He only knows how to fucking murder people. It's like, imagine like, it's like taking John Wick and being like, hey, can you be in a rom-com? And like, like as Keanu? No, as John Wick.
Yeah. Absolutely. He's snapping his annoying mother-in-law's neck. She's like, put your phone away. It's family time. Puts a pencil through her eye. I wanted to check my Twitter. I have a tweet going off right now. You know what Russ could use to make him much better, though? To calm him down a little bit? Yeah, you know what I was thinking? I think he could use some high-quality CBD from our friends at cushydreams.com. What about you, Sam? I think it would help a lot. I think so too. Because I don't know, man. When I take it, I'm fucking feeling great because it's shown, by the way, it's the highest quality smokable CBD on the fucking market, and it has been shown to help with anxiety, depression, even pain relief, fighting inflammation, and more. And I think, listen, if I was watching my two friends from when I was a 20-year-old that we went to the finals together, if I was watching them having the time of their lives in Brooklyn, with Steve Nash and with one of the best coaching staffs of all time, I would need some help with anxiety and depression. And if I had multiple knee surgeries, I would need some fucking pain relief. And that's why if I was Russell Westbrook, I would go to cushydreams.com and get it, you know. And what's great about it, Sam, is it comes in 1/8 ounce cans and pre-rolled joints. It ships directly and discreetly to you. I love those pre-rolls, dog. The pre-rolls are great, and that's honestly my favorite part of the Cushy Dreams suite of products is their new flower. They have a fresh harvest of their best indicas and sativas that come with the ultra premium line, and now maybe you can't do a full gram joint. Honestly, I found myself, this probably isn't a problem for Russell Westbrook. He's got the fucking, the lungs of just a gazelle. But me, with my little baby bitch lungs, sometimes I can't take a full gram of pre-roll. The full one is a lot. But you know what? If you're a guy like us with little dick ass lungs, or a girl like us with little pussy, or I guess big pussy, I don't know. I don't know what's bad when it comes to big. But let's say this: a dry pussy, whatever. Yes, dry pussy ass lungs. We're gonna get a call like, hey, can you not say dry pussy in our ad reads? That's going to cost you another $300, Chief, if you want us to keep dry pussy out of it. We just keep our advertisers hostage by being so vulgar. We force them to pay us. We force them to pay us to stop saying their name in our podcast about where we've made a Ghislaine Maxwell, 2 different Ghislaine Maxwell jokes. Anyway, what you can get is the 5 packs of half-gram pre-rolls. That is my absolute favorite part of the Cushy Dreams line of products. They're so good. They go down smooth. They're easy. And for me right now, I'm on a little bit of a health kick, Sammy. I have not drank. I have not smoked weed. I haven't done any other drugs. And when I'm jonesing a little bit, it's fucking diet Dr. Pepper and half gram of Cushy Dreams. That's when I'm being a bad little slut right now.
You're bad.
That's what I have.
I've been creating cocktails. I've been drinking so much. I've been like the way you used to go to a fast food place and just putting
the suicides.
Suicide. I've been doing that at home.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Well, listen, if you want to, that's the beauty of Cushy Dreams. It pairs well with a vodka gin and fucking Jim Beam like Sam is drinking, or it pairs great with a fucking Diet Dr. Pepper like I'm drinking over here. So if you want to be like us, you want to be like Russell Westbrook and smoke Cushy Dreams, you want the wettest, pussiest ass as CBD on the market, then what you want to do is go to cushydreams.com. That's KUSHY dreams.com. Check out, use promo code PODDON'T for 20% off your next order. Doesn't matter if it's your first, second, whatever. You use our fucking code, you get 20% off every fucking time. So your free shipping on everything over $20. And you know what, man? What we want you to do is smoke your CBD because you can. Because you can. What an incredible slogan that they still are sticking with.
I love it.
So that's what it is there.
Oh, do you know what I saw that I fucking loved the other day, by the way? Did you see Joe Ingles fucking with Donovan Mitchell?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh my God. Ingles and Mitchell just seem like good dudes. They just both seem like awesome guys. They're just like, they fuck with each other, which you love to see them having fun. You know, they're in first place. Yeah,
for sure.
But Donovan Mitchell is getting interviewed, and the guy's asking, what do you think about what Shaq said about you? And Donovan Mitchell goes, hey, I only care what people in this locker room think. And Ingles walks in, he goes, well, I don't think you're a superstar. and Donovan Mitchell goes, fair enough. They clearly fuck with each other. And
that's so good. That's a great one.
You could just see Mitchell go, oh no, here comes Joe. Like Joe clearly fucks with him.
Yeah, and he's got Joe Ingles with a big smile on his face about to troll him.
I love that team. I love how they play. They're a really, really fun team to watch.
Yeah, no, they absolutely rock. Anyway, look,
Quinn Snyder is in first.
For sure. Yeah, Quinn Snyder is absolutely.
But we all know who's in second, motherfucker.
Let's see.
And things can change at the drop of a hat.
It's like, I want the Knicks to keep winning, but it would be so incredible if they just lost like 30 straight games.
No, ain't gonna happen, dude. Have you seen what young Emmanuel Quickly? My man Charles Barkley said he's the second best rookie in the NBA.
I love it.
And then Shaq called him Gerard. He said Gerard Quickly.
Dude, Shaq we have to play that whole clip. Guys, if you haven't seen it, go to what was it, like the name game, and they just make Shaq guess the first names of players. It's crazy how little basketball he watches. And here's the thing about Shaq. He's on Tuesday, like, so the Thursday show, I'm sure if you guys watch TNT, you know this. Thursday TNT is the best, right? I watch those games almost always because
Tuesday's damn good now.
Tuesday's good, but Thursday's like the OGs, right? It's like it's Shaq, Kenny, and fucking Ernie, right? And then and Charles.
It's the best, but Tuesday.
Here's the thing: Tuesday's fun. They have D-Wade,
Candace is great.
Lefko.
Lefko's he's the new Ernie, man. He's climbing that ladder.
Good host, but the only guy that's on twice a week whose job it is to be on a fucking show twice a week is Shaq. Shaq, like, he doesn't know, dude. He didn't know. He called him Gerard Quickly, and then what do you call Mitchell Robinson? John Robinson. It's
the worst.
You didn't know Malik Monk's name?
Oh man! Quick shouts out to Malik Monk, who's putting it together this year. He hit a game winner last night. That was beautiful.
Yeah, that was a tough one. I watched that one too. The Kings, because the Kings have absolutely been sliding since we had a little early season fucking optimism.
Sliding like Luke Walton into a fucking DMs of a model here, man. That guy's job security is fucking looking weaker than their defense right now.
I never wanted Luke Walton. I thought they were fucked up to fire Yeager in the first place, and honestly, that franchise has made so many mistakes between firing Mike Malone when Boogie actually liked him, and he had fucking, what do you have, like he had like some weird infection that kept him out, a staph infection, I think. But remember that like 4 years ago? Anyway, that Vivek and Vlade have run that franchise so fucking horrifically, but that's neither here nor there. What we need to talk
they'll
about,
never live down the Luka thing.
so many mistakes.
I'm sorry, but yeah.
And he would have been, anyway.
I do love De'Aaron Fox. I
love Fox, and him and Luka would have been great together.
And I loved him out of the gate, but you've made me love him more because of your love.
Yeah.
And man, they were just reposted when he and Bam lost to Kentucky. And it's like, man, he's got so much heart. Like he's just a lovable kid. He really does care. And I love his competitiveness, but he needs a better team. And the Kings suck.
Yeah, it's a tough situation there. And you know what? After being a little competitive, but at the same time, this is a good season to sort of the semi tank, right? Because nobody else is really doing it. I mean, the Thunder still are pretty competitive. The Timberwolves basically that decision's been made for them. They're 7-28. And you know what? We should talk about their new coach. But before that,
in the way they fucking fired Ryan Saunders, which was fucking insane, to not just when you fire a guy, it's usually the interim coach. They fired him and had a guy on like a multi-year deal, like a new guy came in.
Yeah, absolutely.
That means they were doing some dirty shit behind his back.
Oh,
horribly run franchise.
They were meeting up with Chris Finch in a hotel and sucking him off. While fucking Saunders was at like was at dinner with his mom. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, I can't make it. I have a work thing's running late. And then the Timberwolves meet up with Chris Finch halfway between Minnesota and Toronto in a Holiday Inn and just get their walls blown the fuck out behind his back. Yes. Okay. So let's talk about that real fast. And then we'll talk about the game of the week, which is a very important game.
All right,
something I have.
We all know what you're going to bring up.
As a gentleman, I've waited. Some of us, when we're happy about something, we let the show take precedent. We let the show evolve. We keep our personal victories, in a more dignified manner. We wait for them.
You think you're not as fucking Giannis biased as I am Knicks biased. You're just lucky your guy is at his fucking peak of his powers.
You're right. I am lucky. I root for somebody much better.
Yeah, well, man, you chose your homosexuality. I was born gay.
That's right. I'm what Republicans think gay guys are. I get to pick and choose my sexuality. I just switch every week. Anyway, so yeah, the Timberwolves fired Ryan Saunders, who got
really bad team too.
Who got his job as an interim coach, and at the time it was kind of, honestly, if you guys remember, I don't know if you remember, Sam, but like when he got hired, it was like, okay, this feels more sentimental than anything because he's Flip Saunders' son. Flip had just died.
He's very young. He's younger than me, I believe. I think.
Yeah, he's a young guy, and Flip was like, a titan in that franchise, and he was running it at the time when he passed away. And
this dude, look, this kid's been around the game his whole life. Like I've heard him on the low post. He's a fascinating guy, and
he did a good job as an interim coach. But it screamed at the time as a mistake. It felt at the time like he showed this. Keep him on your staff. Let him grow, but hire somebody who's ready to fucking run, like who can actually, take this team to the next level. They made a mistake in hiring him, in my opinion. At the time, I thought they made a mistake. And then now to his credit, if you want to say that, he's never had the team that they were supposed to have. Like he thought he was going to be coaching D'Angelo Russell and Karl Anthony Towns. And
because of 5 games together.
Exactly. Because of COVID on Cat's side and D'Lo's injuries, they played 5 games. But he hasn't really shown anything.
And I also don't think that's this incredible dynamic duo. I still believe that Cat is an elite big. I think D'Angelo is a little overrated because of the season in Brooklyn.
But that's neither here nor there. That's who they have, right? Like that's who.
I don't like their roster. I think
Gerson Rosas. Well, you have to think about it from the GM's perspective, right? Because it's like this to me screams Rosas is already afraid of his job, afraid for his job, because I think especially if they lose this fucking pick to the Warriors and
horrible.
they lose the pick to the Warriors. D'Lo's been hurt the whole time, and when he plays, he hasn't
How do
looked
the
that
Warriors
effective.
keep fucking? What a well-run franchise they
And
are.
then-
It's so annoying.
And then you have the added thing of they take Anthony Edwards number 1, and he might be the 4th best player in this draft already. It seems that way.
Well, here's the one good thing I'll say about Anthony Edwards. His game right now is a lot about explosiveness rather than you know, I guess just, you know, being
Look,
his jump shot is not there yet, but he's got the tools to be.
Sure.
an
I'm just
incredible
saying,
player.
I'm just saying if you're Rosas, I'm going through the things that at Glenn Taylor, who's notoriously a bad owner and who's notoriously like, you know, like runs his franchise emotionally, right? He's cheap and he's a fucking, you know, rich emotional prick. Going through, you know, that Golden State trade is looking bad already, right? Especially with Wiggins looking good in that system, D'Angelo being hurt. If that pick goes to them, if they lose, like if they imagine worst case scenario, they give the number 4 pick to the Warriors this year, how bad that looks. Plus Anthony Edwards, who's I think is going to be a good player, but they chose him number 1 over LaMelo Ball.
Well, you talk about this a lot about there's some drafts where it's like, do you want number 1? That's kind of
Totally
the thing that you've brought up a lot. And this might be one where you don't.
You didn't. But at the same time, as a GM, if you do make the wrong pick, you're going to get penalized for it.
Don't you think they took him over LaMelo because they have D'Angelo?
Yeah. And I think we discussed this in a prior thing where it's like, that doesn't make sense because LaMelo they could be running the Nets offense basically where LaMelo is the point guard the way Harden is, and the smaller guy is the shooting guard the way Kyrie is.
I can't believe though. I think if I'm LaMelo, I'm happy to be in Charlotte over.
For sure, you're in a much better situation.
But who would have thought that? I mean, they have good young players in Charlotte. Like PJ Washington went off.
Good young players, and you're basically allowed to run. You're basically allowed to run the show because they don't. Even Rozier, who's a really good. He's a good one in the sense that like. He's the perfect kind of like hybrid guy to put next to someone like LaMelo, someone like Harden, like Luka, right? Like a feisty guy who can guard the 1, but act like more of a 2 on the offensive end. Anyway, my point is just Rosas clearly feels like, damn, the heat is about to be on. If I let this guy be the interim coach, right? Because they have a guy on their staff that's the interim coach, and a lot of people were mad because he's an accomplished assistant and he's a black guy, and it's like they went. Not only did they go against the way that coaching hires are usually happen, where it's just like there's a full interview process, so a lot of people get a chance to at least be seen by a GM, or at least be seen, even if they don't get the job, it raises their profile if their name is linked to a job, right?
I agree.
So a lot of coaches, not only do they not allow coaches that opportunity, but they also didn't allow someone who was on their staff the opportunity to just be the interim coach. I think what that signifies to me is Rosas feels like, damn, I'm kind of fucking this shit up. I might not get another chance. If the interim, I might not get another chance to do a full coaching search, especially, and I don't love the interim guy. I like other candidates more. And they interviewed their interim guy at the same time they interviewed Finch. And I think it probably says to him like, and let me just get their name, David Vanderpool is the guy's name. Vanderpool was one of the guys they interviewed along with Finch.
Who's got a good rep.
Rep. People love him. Damian Lillard loves him. CJ loves him. I think he was on that staff.
Yeah.
So to me, it just is like, I just think Rosas is rightfully seeing how bad the situation is for him. And he thinks I got to get my guy. I need the guy I really want no matter what. And if I were him, I can't say I blame him because he just needs to fucking, he might lose his job.
This roster makes zero sense because when you pass on LaMelo Ball, but then bring in Ricky Rubio, who's having a career horrible season, I don't understand. Like, so you're like, we're going to pass on the elite point guard and then we're going to bring in a point guard. I don't get it.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's, I think he's fucked up now.
I do wonder if Anthony Edwards is almost like, I don't think he's going to be this guy, but what if he is the Markelle Fultz of this draft?
I don't think he's going to be that bad
I
because
don't think it's going to be that bad either, but like, I'm just saying, like,
but like Markelle shooting was supposed to be a strength. The only way Anthony Edwards could be the Markelle Fultz of this draft is if he all of a sudden stopped being able to dunk. Like that's how crazy Markelle's was.
Markelle was, you're right. He was linked to like Damian Lillard was a comp for him. I mean, it's crazy.
People literally said like smaller T-Mac, bro, like shit like that. He had the athleticism without, like.
I don't think Edwards is a bust. I'm just saying, what if? I think Edwards is going to be a really good NBA player.
I don't think he's a bust, but I think you probably.
But you don't think he's LaMelo?
You would definitely rather have LaMelo. I think
right now, yeah.
Especially if you're the Timberwolves.
Would you rather have Quickly than Edwards?
Edwards still has some like more. I think Quickly is his upside is like, bottom like mid-tier starter, top of the line, like sixth guard or third guard. And I think Edwards still has a little more upside if he can put it together.
I think Quickly is as crafty as they come, brother.
But I like Quickly.
Halliburton or Edwards? Not so easy, right? I mean, good two-way player.
I love Halliburton. I would rather have Halliburton. If you were telling me if the Knicks could have had one of those two guys, I would rather they have Halliburton. No joke.
I agree.
But at the same time, I think Edwards still has a little, he has more upside than
I'm high as fuck on Quickly though. I'm high. Brother.
Absolutely. So I will say real quick though, Chris Finch, I think he's a good choice because you look at where he's coached, where he's been an assistant. He was an associate head coach. Like, he's top assistant with Mike Malone with the Nuggets in 2016 when Jokic really started, like they really kind of unlocked Jokic. They really started this offense. And a lot of people credit him for that. And he did a similar thing. The next year he was hired for the same position with Alvin Gentry. And that was the year that they ran that like cool run all the time offense with Anthony Davis and Boogie. So the thought process here is
one of the ultimate what if teams.
So cool if they didn't play him that much, he didn't get hurt.
Boogie was dropping like he had games where he was like 40 and 20.
It was crazy, dude. It was awesome. He was looking
poor
so
Boogie,
good.
man. So what is Boogie he's gonna get bought out, right? I mean, that's
the Rockets have been in a fucking free fall. They keep fucking losing.
Well, they're without their best player. I mean, if there was any doubt that how valuable Christian Wood was to that team, and
some might say top 10 MVP.
No, he's not. He's not on that level.
That team is completely falling apart without him. So that's what it means to be an MVP.
Don't
Sam, as we all know. That's the only rubric that matters.
Let me tell you something, brother.
Anyway, my point is Finch has made really good offenses around big guys with interesting skill sets. So he makes sense for Karl-Anthony Towns. That's all. That's my only point. Now, let's fucking zoom past this bullshit. No one cares about the fucking Timberwolves. Let's talk about the likely Eastern Conference Finals team, the Milwaukee Bucks, putting the fucking entire league on notice.
Disagree.
Putting the whole league on notice. Giannis Antetokounmpo with a performance for the ages with the Clippers, the little cucks of Los Angeles.
Now, look, that motherfucker was out here looking like King Julius. I mean, he had a
shut your fucking mouth. Shut your fucking lock-eating mouth, pal.
Imagine if this guy could put together his three-point shot to look like Julius Randle. How unstoppable Giannis Antetokounmpo would be.
So learn his name if you're gonna troll me, motherfucker. Call him Antetokounmpo, bitch. His name is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Anyway,
that was the most Giannis way to end a game ever.
It was awesome. Okay, I obviously am thrilled. Okay, big picture, right? Or I won't go big picture. I'll just be a fucking dumbass Sam Morril style fan for a second here, right? And without being the
loyal,
without being the fucking the genius analyst Stavros Halkias style fan. First, I'm gonna go Sam Morril. I'm going to go Sam Morril, fucking blue-collar, lunch-pail idiot fan that I have right now and say my dick got so fucking hard for the Bucks to beat a team as good as the Clippers with the Clippers didn't have any injuries. Kawhi and Paul George were out there. They had to come back in the fourth. They had to show real grit. And Drew Holiday played, but it was his first game back, and he was rusty. He didn't play a lot.
Didn't look great.
So for them to get this win and for Giannis to score 17 of the last 25 points is fucking incredible. And for him to hit his free throws when it counts, humongous. They played defense. They looked like the team you wanted them to look like without a Drew Holiday, and they showed a blueprint for how this team can score in the fourth quarter. And that was just Giannis and Middleton pick and rolls, plus the other guys looking alert. DiVincenzo being ready for the ball. Even
he's had a few big games lately.
Who I believe in, the big ragu I love. And Giannis had some incredible defensive. They looked like the defense, right, that they were last year, because the Clippers were the final score was 105-100 Bucks Clippers, right? It was 100-96 with 3 minutes left. They didn't let them score the last 3 minutes of the fucking game, and they looked incredible. And Giannis played like the defensive player of the year. Sometimes he was matched up on Kawhi, but other times he was the rover. He even got a fucking block from behind on Kawhi just by being so good. So it was good to see, right? Because you look at the offense, there was incredible ball movement. Giannis didn't have to shoot. In fact, the bucket that sealed everything was a dunk because of incredible ball movement and Giannis's athleticism, right?
Yeah.
Now I will say, now to fucking put my pessimist brain genius hat on, right? At the same time, the Clippers, in a weird way, are a pretty solid matchup for them because they don't really have. It allows them to play Giannis at center. They did not have anyone at center, so right. Giannis was not challenged at the rim. Right, there was no one stopping him at the rim.
Who's going to stop him? I mean, I love Ibaka, but he just can't. He doesn't have the quickness.
Exactly. And we've seen that the guys that give him trouble is like Embiid, right? Like that's someone humongous at the fucking rim just gives him trouble, right? So bam, absolutely bam. So you don't have to contend with that. And it was just the kind of thing where they're still a great team though, the Clippers, and they're still, what are they, 2 in the West? Yeah, or I don't know.
They might have fallen back.
But with no center, and it allowed them to just kind of like, they allowed the Bucks to go small, and other teams it's just not gonna be available to them to go that small. And I did like to see at the same time.
They're 3 right now. They fell back. They would have been tied at 2 if they won that, or they would have been rather 2 if they won that game. But they're half a game behind the Lakers at 2.
So I like to see Giannis on the best player. Like they did that sometimes. They had him on Kawhi in a way that I liked, but in a weird way, I just think the Clippers were a good matchup. And at the same time, I still worry about if they're going to be able to win playing Budenholzer style offense. This is the way it happens. I just think it's just not the same. A game in February is not the intensity. Even the Clippers would be playing with harder defense.
And even the Bucks, I would say that they're pacing themselves. I mean, that Giannis, this is like the first year you've really heard him come out and be like, I don't care about the regular season. Yeah. So
at the same time, man, 36, 14, and 5 is a fucking monster line.
In his sleep against a great fucking team. I mean, Giannis's numbers are still great.
Oh, dude, he's had like over 35 the last like 5 games. He's been playing out of his fucking mind, and they're putting something together. But it just didn't. I don't know. Now, I will say this: that's all without Drew, right? So if Drew gives them another element other than the Giannis Middleton pick and rolls in the final moments, but still,
and a guy who will help stretch the floor consistently, and a guy who can create a little bit. I mean, Drew has. He's got some skills that they're going to need in the playoffs.
Totally. So, but still, it was very nice to see it. At the same time, the Clippers are the little cucks of Los Angeles, and I would feel a lot better if this was, of all the like top tier contenders, right? We're talking Lakers, Jazz, Nets, Sixers, Bucks. The Clippers are the one that it means the least to me that they beat. You know what I mean?
Interesting. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it's more important you guys. To me, they're like not even the top 5 of teams that you guys need to beat.
Yeah.
Because I want to see you beat Brooklyn. I want to see you beat the Heat. I want to see you. Yes. I want to see you beat fucking the Sixers, man. As you said, Embiid is such a bad matchup.
Yeah, the Lakers with Anthony Davis is playing horrible matchup for them. So those are the teams I want. I wonder, did they play the Lakers twice already, or do they have another one? I feel like they would save at least one for this back half of the season, but I don't know. But still a very good win, 105-100 over the Clippers.
Lakers Bucks March 31st.
I love it. Damn, if only they were playing on March 25th, Greek Independence Day. That would have been something. But
perfect, because Giannis is doing it alone.
Yeah. But you know what? No one thought the small, proud nation of the Greeks could trounce the Ottoman Empire. And just like we fucking sent those Turks packing, Giannis will lead the Milwaukee Bucks to an NBA championship this year. I love it.
He's gonna have to get past my New York fucking Knicks. that could be a first round matchup, brother.
2 MVP candidates first round. Oh boy.
That is the bill, motherfucker. You got Julius keeps it up. There's no question this guy's in the mix.
It's so awesome, man.
I'm so mad Harry's not here because you best believe I would have hit at Harry a couple of these fucking.
I said, Harry, stay the fuck home. I don't want this cocksucker calling for any fucking sound cues this episode.
You know I had some ready, dog.
Anyway, again, fun week of basketball. And you know, we've got some fun games coming up. I'm feeling bad. My Bulls do not have a favorable schedule. They're going to come up. The Knicks might. It felt nice to be in the front of the battle for steak for a second, but
I was sweating. I was meat sweating, dog.
One thing I will say we should highlight is the Lakers, even without Anthony Davis, blew the butt cheeks off the Warriors on the late game last night. A real stinker.
And they beat the Blazers, who are also
the Lakers with Schroeder back. It's a little easier. You know, LeBron had absolutely no one to create any offense with both Schroeder and Anthony Davis out.
The Knicks have the Spurs tomorrow and the Pistons on Thursday. Spurs are tough right now. It's a tough team right now.
Tough team.
But I still believe these are 2 winnable games.
Yeah, certainly the Pistons game. But anyway, yeah, a fun game coming up. I think Wednesday. The game I'm most looking forward to is Jazz Sixers, which is actually on League Pass. They put Rockets fucking Nets on ESPN, which is like, I know you want to get the Nets there as many times, but you're telling me Jazz Sixers isn't a better game?
Much better.
So that's on League Pass. Watch that if you can.
It's the 2-1 seeds, man. Come on.
I know. But so yeah, and then the Celtics play the Clippers in the TNT Tuesday game, which I think the Clippers will fuck their asses, but it'll be.
I love it. I hope they do.
Yeah, and then the TNT game.
It's the great forward front court of the today versus the great forward front court of the future.
That's right. That's right. And then the TNT game on Thursday is Heat Pelicans. So it's all right. Not honestly, the big matchups this week are not that fucking juicy, but
Knicks Pistons Thursday. Look out.
Yeah, that's the good one. But and then those are the last games, and then we're going into the All-Star break that weekend. So anyway, folks, that's gonna do it for us this week. Salute to the fucking number 4 seed New York Knicks. And then of course,
hit it, Harry.
Spiritually hit it, Harry. Anyway, so thank you for listening.
The New York Knicks.
Let's not forget the yeah, it's so funny. The Bucks are 3 and the Knicks are 4 right now.
This is what being a fan is all about, brother.
It is. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for this moment in the sun for you. All right, folks.
Nice and tan, motherfucker.
You're fucking looking crispy right now. Thanks for listening. We will be back with a pre-All-Star game episode on Thursday or Friday on the Patreon. That's patreon.com/pod-don't-lie. Sign up. We have some good stuff up there. And of course, we'll be back for the free episode next Monday, probably recapping the All-Star game. Thanks a lot, guys. We will talk to you then. Bye-bye.